Hi YouTube, it's Kathy and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for August 18th through 24th. This week I read 3 books, I watched 1 show, I watched 1 movie, and I listened to 1 book. Surprise, surprise, I'm not at home again. I'm visiting family up island, so I of course absconded out to the studio where I can film this video without people having to hear me yammer on. We were also at a wedding last night that had an 80s cover band situation going on, so my voice does not sound like it normally sounds. And there's really nothing I can do about that right now. First this week I read The Jellyfish. This is a graphic novel translated from French about this woman who lives in Montreal, and one day she just notices that in one of her eyes she just sees a jellyfish. So she goes to the doctor and the doctor says, it should go away on its own. It should eventually just clear up. You'll probably be fine. You just have to deal with it for now. So she continues on with her life with this jellyfish in her vision, and then suddenly there are 2 jellyfish, and then there are 4 jellyfish, and then there are more jellyfish, and when she can eventually see a healthcare provider again, she finds out this is not just going to go away on its own. This of course is a metaphor for a chronic illness, and we see this character going through life being able to see less and less and less and what that experience would be like. The art was simplistic but also very impactful because of that, and I really enjoyed getting to know this character and what they were going through and the different people they interacted with throughout their life. Next we have the first in a romance series, and that is Morbidly Yours. I believe the series title for this one is Love in Galway, and that's wonderful because I've been to Galway literally for an afternoon, so I got really excited because I was like, hey, I've been here. I can't really picture it all too well because it was over a decade ago, but I've been here. This book is all about this woman who 2 years previously lost her husband and works as an animator, and she has this 9-month contract to come to Galway for the first time from Texas to work on this very, very small project from a very small studio. When she gets there, she's unpacking her boxes and she opens up this box that was delivered to her, and inside it is 5 body bags. And she's trying to figure out why they're here, and then she realizes they're obviously not even addressed to her, they just came with all the other packages. So she takes them next door to the bed and breakfast, which is apparently where they were supposed to be going, and she meets a guy there and she's just trying to figure out if he's a serial killer or not. The thing is, the bed and breakfast next door is not a bed and breakfast, it's actually a mortuary. And obviously he needs those for professional purposes. He's not actually a serial killer. This of course is our meet cute between these 2 characters, and he has an interesting situation going on because he should have inherited the mortuary he works and lives in because his grandfather recently passed. However, because of some weird legalese in his grandfather's will, he can't actually inherit unless he gets married before his 35th birthday, which is fast approaching. They become the best of friends, but she feels like she's never going to be ready for an actual relationship, and if he's going to marry her because he realizes he really, really likes her, he wants it to be for real. Add to that different shenanigans and adventures and her having this complete knob she has to work with and that being a whole situation. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my time with these characters, and I'm excited to see what happens in the next book because I'm pretty sure I can guess who the couple is going to be just based on things that happen in the background of this book, but I don't know for sure. It was cute and it had some really fun humor. I definitely laughed out loud a couple of times while reading it, so I definitely enjoyed this one. Next I read Already Enough: A Path to Self-Acceptance, and this is exactly what it sounds on the tin. This is a book for people who struggle with feeling like they are enough, which, hi, that's me sometimes. Obviously, being a self-help book, talking about this one gets a really personal really fast. So what I will say about it is, like any other book, this is not going to solve all of your problems, but this is going to make you feel like you're not the only one who's ever felt this way, and give you some potential routes to solutions to getting on a healthier path and healthier mindset. As for the one show I watched this week, that was Criminal Minds. I watched most of the 9th season because I had just started the 9th season when I talked to you last, and I also watched the first episode of the 10th season, which means we are now on our 4th female brunette of the main cast, and I didn't know this woman was ever in this show, and I also don't know if I really like her character. It's just the casual mentioning of perpetrators maybe having tripped on the way to the cop car, and you know, that's why they're all bloodied up. That has me going, Is the ethics of this character actually going to be solid and something I'm gonna support? I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, if you weren't here before when I talked about this, I find it really interesting that every time a new cast member comes in to replace an old cast member, they always cover that person with somebody of the same gender and hair color. So when Gideon left, we got Rossi. When AJ left for a while, we got a different blonde. I think her character's name was Amanda. And we started the series with Elle, then we got Emily, and then when Emily left, we got Blake, and now we have Kate. In any case, I definitely haven't seen any of this cast because I did not know that Jennifer Love Hewitt was in this show ever, so we'll see how far this goes. Maybe we'll revert back to Blake at some point. I don't know. She was only there for a season. The one movie I watched this week was The Road to El Dorado, which is another movie from my teen years that I don't think I actually watched, but obviously is referenced on the internet. Mostly the both thing, which I still don't know what that was all about because we talked through that section and I was like, oh, they just said the thing, but I don't know what it was in reference to. This is a movie about a couple of con artists just conning their way through different situations. They were in Spain and then they accidentally were on a ship and then they escaped from that ship and somehow ended up on this island and they were trying to find the road to El Dorado, which is a road to a place where there's gonna be a bunch of gold, and when they get there the locals think that they are gods. So that's a fun whole situation. Complete side tangent, but there's kind of two bad guy characters in this one, and the first one you meet is a character named Hernan Cortez in Spain and they end up on his ship at some point, and that dude literally has an island named after him that is next to my island. So, you know, that's fun. As for the audiobook I listened to this week, that was So Let Them Burn. This is also the beginning of a series. I'm really good at reading the first book in a series, but especially if the rest of the series isn't out, I'm not very good at finishing it. But also, I don't feel bad right now because I'm pretty sure that this book just recently came out, so I couldn't go on if I wanted to, which I do, actually. This one is set in a really interesting time frame for these characters because we're set in a fantasy world inspired by Jamaica, if I'm remembering correctly from the blurb. I don't really read the blurbs, but I think that was like the first line. And it's set about 5 years after there was this very big war to gain the independence of this island nation because it had been colonialized ages ago and they wanted to be under their own rule. And this world definitely has gods. There's one particular character who can actually take on the powers of those gods. And oh yeah, there's also dragons and dragon-like creatures. What's interesting setting this after this war, where you know these characters have lived through this thing when they were much younger, is what we get to see what happens after the typical chosen one trope type of situation. So this still has a chosen one. We also have her sister who is trying to do good in her own right, and then just several things happen. And I found this one really interesting, and I am really interested to see what happens next. So whenever that comes out, hopefully I notice so I can do that. Also, yes, I've pretty much gone full autumn since like a week ago because the weather has just been conducive to that, and this is your reminder that in our household we celebrate Triple October, which means from September 1st to November 30th is all October, is all the creepy season, and I started even earlier this year. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that, as always, is down below. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!